Okay, thanks. Very good morning. I think what a brilliant idea to do this at LKC Medicine. I used to live around here, and to see the transformation of the Novena campus, as well as the fact that I used to practice here when I was a young doctor, warms my heart. Anyway, I have 10 minutes. I'm going to give you a quick snapshot of what we're doing at NTU. Now, we have undergone big changes at NTU over the last year and a half. So this little logo here represents the new structure. So what we've done at NTU is we have restructured and consolidated all of our innovation and enterprise infrastructure into a single entity, which we've privatized, and it's ideally, the plan is to run this just like any other company. So we want to lead by example. Our vision, okay, propaganda slide, but basically we have two main jobs. One is make money from technology commercialization, and probably more importantly is the organizational development of a culture of innovation and enterprise throughout NTU. And technology commercialization, as far as our thinking is concerned, is for proximate impact. Right? This is stuff that we already own. We have a fairly rich body of intellectual property that we intend to monetize. Okay, monetize is the wrong word. We intend to exploit for a greater good. Yeah, because actual dollar revenue from licensing is hard to come by, right? But commercialization also includes startup companies, and as a company, compared to what other tech transfer offices or companies do, we want company formation to be our differentiating factor, our competitive advantage. And I'll show you some numbers, why we think we can be good at that. This one is going to be for long-term impact. Yeah? We want to train a new generation of students so that they can come back and start companies. And finally, but I won't be talking about this, we've been, as Singapore's major university in Johor Bahru, we have been isolated way too long from the national ecosystem. So this gives you a snapshot of the things we do right now, in addition to sort of our core expertise in technology transfer that includes prosecuting intellectual property, whether it's patents, trademarks, copyrights. We also have a fairly comprehensive infrastructure for startups. So we have programs, hackathons, makeathons, workshops. We have a core of mentors, and we have incubation facilities, physical facilities, as well as the financial ability to help the company. So we are an approved incubator. We manage funds for these agencies. We also do, I see Sasha in the audience, we also do a little bit of research with colleagues from NBS. We work with Sasha, Bo Wai Fong, on a number of things. The most important one is the career aspiration study. We are systematically polling students as they come in, looking at and sort of profiling them in a way. How many have entrepreneurial aspirations, how many want to be professionals, how many just want to work their way up through a corporation, so to speak. We want to make this a prospective study, hopefully, so that we can use this data to titrate what we're doing at NTU against what the outcomes are. This is a quick, again, snapshot, some of the things we did last year. We did, between the professors and the students, we started 37 companies last year. Most of them will fail. But that's not necessarily the point. The point, especially for the students, is to give them real-life experience, what it means to be a business owner. Yeah, give them a taste of blood, I always say. Hopefully they'll come back and do more with us. So we make a distinction, just in case you don't understand. For the professors, we call them spin-off companies because the intellectual property actually doesn't belong to them, it belongs to NTU. And we license it to them, and they start companies around that. For students, if there are students in this audience, the intellectual property actually belongs with you. because you are our customer, so we don't get any rights over your intellectual property. Yeah. So as you can see, we do technology disclosures, gives a measure of how many people are actually thinking about inventing something or innovating something. So the whole innovation process begins with this. And I'd like to take this opportunity. I spoke recently at the orientation for the new MBA class. You know, I'd like to get more people from NBS participate in our innovation and enterprise ecosystem. Yeah? A lot of our engineers are completely clueless when it comes to matters of business, and I'd like to see teams built around our engineers as well as our business students. Okay, so the formation of Intuitive is I believe, an important step forward for technology commercialization. These are some of the things we do. We've become an accelerator-led organization. What does that mean? We're not just doing tech transfer without any connection with industry. Our accelerators actually prosecute projects. They are already companies in waiting. And all of my staff will now be associated with an accelerator so that they understand what the last mile productization requirements are, and hopefully that makes them better at their work. We have a very interesting change at NTU. NTU has taken the bold step of making innovation an assessment parameter in appointments, promotions, and tenure. It's important that our professors lead by example. So this is probably the most, talking about new initiatives, this is probably one of the most important. We've also changed our IP policy. So in case you're not aware, if you invent something, and I'm not talking just about engineering inventions, an invention could be honestly anything, right? We used to share, when we make money from these inventions, we share 50% with the professors, 50% with NTU. And that ratio, that 50%, is already amongst the highest in the world, quite honestly. Most universities share a third, right? So on top of that, what we've done, we've just changed this year, is to make sure that the inventors get the money early. So previously, the inventors, the professors, the students, the graduate students, made money only after we have recovered our cost. From now on, we're going to share from day one. So again, the idea is to get professors now to taste blood, right? I think there's nothing more fun. I just wrote a bunch of checks last week, paying off some professors. Nothing better than to have a envelope in your mailbox. Another $5,000, right? It's nice. So I want to encourage them, whip up some froth, get things going on the innovation side. As far as the general ecosystem is concerned, few interesting new things will be rolled out in the next year, if not already in the past month or so. Most important, we're gonna have our own version of an NTU Overseas College, right? This is going to be focused entirely on the startup experience. So unlike internships where we stick people in Rolls-Royce, Lockheed Martin, GE, we're going to put them into startup companies. We're going to start our first campus in London, and then we're going to move on to Berkeley, Stockholm, am I missing anything else? Chicago, possibly New York, and China, somewhere in China. But we're going to start this December in London. One of the things that's going to distinguish our program from the one that NUS has is we intend to open this to our graduate students as well. So if any of you actually have the appetite or are prepared to take a year off, this is something you can consider. Within Singapore, we're going to expand. We're going to have a satellite incubator at the new launch pad at One North. So near the Biopolis locality, they've converted an old industrial park into sort of the startup hub of Singapore. So 5 years ago, we had Block 71. It's expanding into Block 79 and Block 72 in that industrial park, and we're going to take space in it. So people will start up their companies at NTU when they actually receive venture capital, they can move on there because there will be more VCs. There's a larger startup community there. We've revamped our educational series. We're now going to work off the Lean Launchpad platform. So this is a business platform, a trading platform that actually tests business models with real-world activities before the startups actually commit one way or another to a certain course of action, right? The teams will typically be combined teams of faculty and students and multidisciplinary. So we started the first one earlier this year in August. We ran that for, in July. We ran that for about 10 weeks. We just finished it. We're going to do another one in January, and we're going to run it twice a year thereafter. This is new. Again, not quite by design. It just kind of fell on our plate. But we're running a very industrial hackathon. Our first one is with the Intel Corporation. They have a next generation chip, and they're trying to discover new applications for it. So we teamed them up with the National Council for Social Services, and we're doing this hackathon to discover applications of the Galileo chip in social services for social impact. We are also, so again, unplanned, we started with Intel, and then very soon after that, Tencent also came to us. So we're running a hackathon with Tencent as well. These two hackathons, unlike the usual hackathons that we run, which are run typically over a weekend, these are run over 3 months. The Intel one is going to end next week, and actually the finale will be sort of presented at the Tech Venture Conference next week. Yeah. We're doing homecomings. I show this slide because, again, these are just the range of activities we do. For the first time, we got all of our babies back to NTU so that they could, share their experiences and also to celebrate the success in fundraising. So this is we've become much better at raising money for our companies. And in this year alone, these are some of the companies that have succeeded in raising money. So I just want to highlight Banker Bay. Banker Bay was, so just to dispel the notion that the companies we start are all hardcore technological companies. This was started by an investment banker. It's an interesting platform. It's like a specialized investment bankers LinkedIn plus that allows buyers and sellers, applicants and suppliers to coalesce around a single easy-to-use platform. We even do animals. Check this out. Yeah. So this year we're a co-sponsor, a knowledge sponsor for the CNA startup program. This is interesting. This is a reality TV program. We're going to be the knowledge partner. NTU is going to host the set, so all this filming is going to take place on our place at the Innovation Center. And what we've done is we've sort of primed the pump with NTU startups. And again, all this is done to encourage people to think about innovation, think about startups as a viable, as a legitimate career option, especially when you're young. Since we're in the medical school, I thought I'd include this slide. This is something that we're doing very specifically for the medical school, yeah, in drug discovery. So that is, in a way, and this is, I'm using my own interpretation of God from the machine. I want to bring something special out of the machines we make. Deus Ex Machina, that sums up what we are doing at NTU on the innovations front. Happy to take a question or two. I know we don't have a lot of time. Do you want questions or? Okay, no problem. Thank you.